Hello, everybody. Welcome to our show about Uranus entering Gemini today. The beautiful Diana Bowles is with us as
Aw,
usual. And
thank
it's so
you.
good to see everybody in the chat already. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. Wow, this is a big day. Well, 7-7, we got that going on. And that's a powerful
Oh
energetic
my,
day. Yeah.
right?
This yeah. So and this morning about I think it was 3:50, 3:48, something like that. This morning is when uh Uranus crossed over and entered into Gemini, which is okay, we got Uranus rules Aquarius, Mercury rules Gemini. These are both air signs. This is brilliance, brilliance. When Uranus was in Taurus, there was a lot of, well, and we can see I don't want to say destruction, but the deterioration of those systems that are not um, life affirming across the board. I'm going to use politics on that because we can see it. We can see it playing out. And over that 7-year period, things have deteriorated.
Oh my.
And and that's just gonna, but there's gonna be solutions now. And that Taurus is very slow. It's the physical world. Uranus is it rules Aquarius who wants truth and wants to innovate, wants to find solutions for the collective, right? So that's an important thing. As it was deteriorating, and think about all of the stuff that is available to us now. I mean, ChatGPT, all the things that we can. Um,
Lots of new tools that we have to use responsibly.
that's right. It is definitely responsibly. Hi, Scott, Scorpio Sun. It's good to see you. Hi, Millie. Hi, Leah.
I'm
Hi,
trying to
Mr.
get,
Floyd's Universe. Mr. Floyd's Universe. Nice to see you. Lauren Hunsinger. Good to see you. You're trying to get. I'm
well,
sorry.
Rocky sent me some really cute, nice, I guess I got to go back and read the instructions. Microphones.
Ah, nice.
But
That's
but
nice.
I thought I had it under control, but I don't. Welcome to Uranus hitting Gemini
Oh,
at my 0 degrees and with Sedna,
okay. Oh, yeah. Let's talk
right?
about the
Yeah.
Uranus uh, in Gemini at 0 and your Sedna in Gemini at
Mhm.
0. Uh,
Well, she's at 1 right now.
she's at 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
My
Okay. That's.
Sedna is yeah.
Oh, thank you, Leah. Oh, that's so sweet. Hi, Rossi. I love Rossi too. Oh, is Rossi here? I don't
Yeah,
know.
Rossi. I was trying to use the microphones, but I got to read the directions. This is a perfect example of how Uranus can interfere with a 29-degree planet in
Hi.
Taurus that you might have, such as
Yes.
Mars. I'm trying to take action on something, but I don't can't do it because Uranus is like, do it now. And I'm like, well, I can't. I don't know enough. I
That's
need to
an
reread the instructions.
that's an excellent point. You do have to, because this energy is so fast, always in our best interest to slow down, take a
Uh-huh.
pause, understand what's coming through, breathe, whatever it is, but I know I'm very impatient. Like I just want to go, go, go. And you see how I talk. I just like ADD, I'm sorry, but that is who I am, and I really can't change it now. But where am I? 4th of July. Okay. This is, let's go to this part of it. We're at the end of the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga.
Kali Yuga.
at the end of a lot of cycles, 26,000 year cycle, all this stuff. So Pluto goes into Aquarius, right? In November, last November. This is setting us up for this new era that we keep talking about, this new world that we're all creating together. This is going to bring in the brilliance of who, we've been recreating ourselves in these new energies as we're recreating the new era. And it's not, it's I see things real fast because I have a lot of Aquarius. Diana sees things real fast. She has a lot of Gemini. And you do have some, don't you have Jupiter in Aquarius? What is
My Jupiter is in
Jupiter?
Aquarius, and Pluto is sitting on my Jupiter.
Oh man, yeah. See, and I got the same thing. Pluto's sitting on my Jupiter in Aquarius. Isn't that crazy? And we read charts all the time. We just figured out today that we both have 9 degrees of Uranus, Gemini.
Venus.
In, see, I'm going ahead of myself. My
Yeah.
words can't come out as fast as my brain wants to go. But anyway, we have a significant. She has Mercury at 9 degrees Gemini, and I have Venus at 9 degrees Gemini. And I mean, we've never noticed that, and not to, because that you will see your friendships and your relationships in your chart.
Yeah.
If you look at it, but I'm telling you, every time I look at my chart, which is probably once a week, I find something different. And I just happened to look at hers today, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. So anyway, as we are going to go through creating this new era, hi, Angela. Angela, I gotta text you afterwards and apologize about well, not apologize, but make sure I'm gonna put you on the list for practice. That's what I wanted to say. Hi, Rainbow Dragon. I don't think I have you, Angela. That's why I'm apologizing. But so
Well,
all these ends of these cycles, right? Got to close down. It's like click, 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 and we're all the pieces to the puzzle of the new are still coming into focus. Go ahead.
right. You have your Venus at 9 degrees of Cancer. I have my Venus at 3 degrees of Cancer. So even though they're out of orb, they match up in the fact that they're in Cancer.
Wait a minute. No, I saw something else. It's not that one. It was Gemini. What do we have in
Oh, my
Gemini?
Mercury is in Gemini.
Right, and my Venus is in Gemini, and we got it at the same degree.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
It's
you were
okay.
saying your Venus was in Cancer.
No, my Mercury's in Cancer. It's okay. We're gonna figure it out. I don't expect us to remember any of this. Oh my God.
Okay, another prime example of confusing days, such as this, where Uranus at 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time went into Gemini.
This is
And,
live
you know,
in action.
she's not, and that's going to be sitting there for a while.
Long time.
Right.
And
Yeah, because in November it goes retrograde and it's still at 0 degrees.
and that's a perfect point because all the big planets are going to go retrograde in the fall. And well, Neptune's going already went. Pluto's already. Saturn's going to go 3 days after the full moon. So this weekend. Um, but all these plans, because they're all trying to get the new information. They're getting the downloads too, just like we are. We're getting the light codes and all that, and they bring them to us. But the underlying background information. Okay, we got 0 degrees Gemini, Uranus in Gemini. We have a 3 degree retrograde in Aquarius retrograde. 3 degree retrograde. Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Oh my gosh. And then the super galactic center is at 2 degrees Libra. This is a grand air trine, and it's going to be the background energy, I want to say, for a while. But that's where we're at.
Well, I think that also this Uranus at 0 degrees is definitely about communication, because it's in Gemini. So it doesn't matter what house it is. It's in Gemini, and that's Mercury, who's got a lot to say and needs to say it quickly, and you do with it what you need to do with it. And what the message is, what are you willing to fight for? And how do you prepare for what might be altercation? And the reason why I say that is we have directly across in Sagittarius, we have Aldebaran. Aldebaran is in Gemini at 9 degrees. What we have Antares, like I need a dragon, another dragon. We have Antares at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. And sitting at 9 degrees of Sagittarius is Estrella. And Estrella is in that justice mode, the things you can't let go of until there is justice. Now, what that Andrea and Tara, oh my God, I just want a dragon. What?
Here, we'll just shake it out. Let's just
Shake it out.
I can
Shake
burn
it.
some.
You know
You want me
what?
to burn some sage? I can burn some sage.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'm losing papers right on my lap. I wish this little darling little dog would go sit someplace else. Anyways, so Antares at 9 degrees of Sagittarius is about justice, and she's retrograde. And it's about the things that we can't let go of. Well, what's across from there at 9 degrees is Aldebaran, which is the east sky, and the silver portal by which new bodies come in. And that makes Antares where the souls leave the earth plane. Now,
Never heard
we
of that.
also
Oh, yeah, I
have the
like
moon in
that.
Sagittarius at 12 degrees. So all of that emotional, this is the flood in Texas. Even though it's in a fire sign, what it is about is souls leaving, because they certainly have, we're up to 90 now, of children and adults that have crossed over. So blessings and prayers to the families and to those who did lose their lives. And it feels like there is no justice for that. But in that 9 degrees, even though it's a little off kilter, in that Sagittarius, across from there is Uranus and Sedna at 1 degree and Venus at 3 degrees. So this is the love. The Sedna is about the release, the adaptation, and the sacrifice, allowing that Uranus to take this information and have more people get on board. So even though we say it's the portal of souls coming in, this is also the portal of souls joining, right? Because after all, if they're coming in, they're joining. And it is very sad. But we, as a collective in this country, no matter what your political dissertation is, know that this is something that should not have happened. It can be a 1,000-year storm, unusual behavior from Gaia, but all the things that we have done leading up to this and the sacrifice that was made by 100 people, probably more, that just haven't been found yet. And it's emotional because the moon is involved right now as well. And we're heading in 3 days into the full moon in Capricorn.
Mm. That's a big one.
Big one,
Doesn't
because this is going to put more light. And I know these are things that we've said a million times, but this is going to be put more light on the emotions of us, the people,
yeah,
for
what
the people, for the
because of
people, by the people,
mhm,
of the people.
because of life negating systems we live under.
Yep.
And have been thrust upon us
Yep.
recently. So it's going to help though to restructure that.
And that's what Antares also represents, where Aldebaran represents the higher mind and the body's brain. Antares represents the emotional body. And the moon being there certainly made it hit home to so many people. And all the other crap that's going on added to it. Did you hear the news about MacArthur's Park?
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Mm-hmm.
kidding me? So,
And that's concerning, right? The military is on our land. But again, with all these, we had 5 outer planets change signs. This is the last one today. So everybody has changed signs. Many are already starting retrogrades. Many more will go into retrograde. We keep seeing around this time next year when things level out astrologically. But until then, we have to unfortunately witness and endure a lot of the mismanagement of our world, and that has got to be seen to be um, reconfigured for us to excel, to thrive in. What's going on now is life negating and taking away everything from the people that pay your taxes. Doesn't it hasn't hit them yet that that's where they get. I mean, I'm sure they know that's where they get their money from, but that can also um, become an issue in the future, very near future. And that's what all these planets are going to do. That Pluto in Aquarius, that's all about the collective having equal footing, equal seat at the table. The Uranus today, the Uranus in Gemini, what are the solutions to all these things? So many brilliant people in the world with so many brilliant solutions. And we have the AI, ChatGPT that is if you use it in a high, it mirrors your consciousness. And if you're using it in a higher consciousness respect, it's going to bring you in. It's like the guide into the higher frequencies that we're all going into, that we're not quite all there yet. So in that higher realm, we're going to be working side by side with AI, ethical AI. And that's where we're not at yet, because that's going to be used against, and it already is used against humanity in a lot of ways. But they're not, and no matter what they do to try to keep that vibration low and keep us down, they can't stop what's coming up. This is the end of so many cycles. This is written in ancient texts. This is the time of the golden age. It is a process, though. You just don't end one situation and jump into another. I mean, we all know that, right?
right.
And it's,
So,
go ahead.
well, all I was going to say is that we have to, what's happened on the 4th, Neptune stationed retrograde.
That's right.
And the 13th, Saturn stations retrograde. Now they'll still be in Aries, but that will be brief. And it's given us a taste, but it's also let us see what we need to formulate in the dream state and what is still viable of the old rules.
Yeah, that's a good
Of
one.
the
Yeah,
Constitution, of the Constitution, of, of
that's important.
to love thy neighbor as thyself, of all of that business, not this false vibrato and false um, messaging that keeps coming towards us from people in, I don't want to say control, because they don't have control over me. Power.
It's the ones that have had power for the last 26,000 years that have
Yeah,
suppressed
yeah.
humanity, held
Kali
humanity
Yuga. Yeah,
back.
right.
It,
That's the one, because
everybody gets
they
insane.
think they've got a lot to lose, but
They do. They're going to lose us
they
because
already did lose it. They just don't know
they
it
don't
yet.
know
They haven't
it.
woken up to it, right?
Yep, and
And then
they're
Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 18th. So all the young, this is another thing that's going on. So when Mercury goes retrograde, what's he going to do?
in Leo no less, because
He's going to get emotional, and
that's
he's
your
going to
heart.
have nasty language. And so in saying that, pay attention to others, not just your own speak. Pay attention to the way others are speaking.
Well, and that's on the 4th when Neptune went and stationed retrograde. That the night before and that morning, Venus and Uranus were conjunct at 29 degrees Taurus. That was right at overnight when this happened, the flooding. There's, everything's got a little bit of a part to play in that.
What?
And here we are. We know in our hearts that we are entering into a new era. Those old systems and constructs that want to stay in control are doing everything in their power, and they have to do it every minute of every day, every second of every day to try to keep the vibration low. And there's too many of us here that know that we're light workers, love workers, energy workers. We're here to increase the vibration and the frequency. And now we have a huge ally. Well, we had all 5 of those outer planets change signs. Of course, the other ones are changed. The personal planets change signs a lot faster. But as we work through the rest of this year into, to me, it's just like going to be, it's almost indescribably amazing. I don't even know. I need a good word. Magical. Right? All these energies are very, very magical. And when we bring them all together and use them, they're here to help us. They're here to assist us come up out of these old cycles. And I'm just, I'm really just excited to see the innovations, the new ways of communicating. I heard, like there was a thing I read today about the bees being involved, and it reminded me of Diana and how those bees, right, are bringing in higher consciousness information just by being what they are. It's just so cool to think about um, how we're all connected and how fast everything is. Yeah, we are magical. It is just so cool, Lauren. And we are every time a planet this last since November, every time a planet has changed signs, it is just another click into the it's like I keep seeing, like, those magical key locks where it clicks into place and it's click click. I keep seeing that kind of stuff, and this one today was the big one. Yeah, rebirth is happening. That's right. It's like humanity's going through labor. Oh my gosh. And that is so true. We are in and it's a long, drawn out labor. We don't know when the baby's coming, unfortunately.
Well, even when they tell you, well, we'll induce, that baby could still come before that induction date. And so the other thing, one more thing about on the day that Mercury is going to station retrograde, he's also going to be in a sextile to Venus,
Mm-hmm.
who rules other fellow air sign Libra.
Mm-hmm.
And so being in that sextile, it's even though she's still a night morning star, I mean, so we can't see her in the night sky. And she's down there in Hades with Pluto. And who's the psychopomp but Mercury? So thinking of Venus as the ruler of Libra, she can tamper the temperament of Mercury because they're both going into that dark place. And they're both, she's in that dark place, but she knows how to be a strong leader. And she can say, no, this is, and this is important for all of us. As light workers, this is the time for us to observe.
Mm. And isn't that is perfect representation of what we're all doing, right? That is what we're doing. And just by observing, by being the love you are, by being who you are, we're holding that frequency up. Leah, with Uranus and Virgo, does that mean I'm a rebel at work? That's a good point, because rebellion is coming. I don't know on what level. I'm not saying civil war, but it's about that time where we have to put a line in the sand, you know. I would prefer a general strike where, you know, the majority of people that can stop working, but we'll see how that plays out. Yes, and it's not only are you a rebel, you're also a very intelligent and organized rebel. So that's always cool. Um, Jamie Lynn is still, what's going on? Girls are still working on the job and righting the wrong. It's craziest transformation I've ever gone through in my life. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're transforming all of this unhealthy, I mean, literally, it's life negating aspects and systems and things that keep us tethered to the old systems. I was using that, I think it was yesterday, I don't know, where we have to, where we are beholden to sign contracts and pay these outrageous fees to, you know, to exist here. Just that whole thing is going to change too.
Thank you for the compliment, but also, hey, knock it off. What, you know, sales are tough no matter what, especially if you're working commission. But for them to be trying to adhere to the old ways when they're just not working anymore.
Well, and they know it doesn't work, right? It isn't, the cruelty is the point, making the money at any, whatever they have to do. In fact, I think they like it. The crueler, the better for them. And I mean, we're dealing with psychopaths, you know, we're dealing with heartless, soulless. I don't even you know, I could go on about that, but to me, if you can blow up, commit genocide, the things that we see, the atrocities we see, if you can do that, you are definitely not heart-centered and soul-centered, and I don't know if you can come back from where you are. But that's not for me to say, but it is for me to stand up for the freedoms and the rights and what's ethical and authentic, and what is in integrity and what is truth. And that's why we come on here and we discuss all these things, because of course we live in duality at the moment, and there's two ways to handle things. You can either be shady or you can be authentic. We choose authenticity. And the more of us who choose that, which light workers, love workers, energy workers, and even people who don't even know that they're any of those things. They just make those decisions naturally. They would help anybody. They would never hurt anybody, you know? And we got this small group of psychopaths who really
Wouldn't
get off
ever help
on it.
anybody
Yeah, wouldn't
unless
help
it was
anybody.
for personal gain first.
Yeah, and they were making something out of it.
You
So
know,
Leah, oh,
even back in the 90s, in 95, 96, my kid was playing football, and there was another,
that's right, Leah.
well, family, of course, but the mom, oh my God, I I never, I just like, how could you be raised to think that way, or what made you change to think that way? But it was like, I'm not here to help anybody else but me and my kids
That's
and
right.
my husband and my house and my house and the mihi and the moho. Well, I'll tell you what,
Mm.
the rest of us help you get there, whether you believe it or not. We all have a share in what we're doing nationwide.
Mm-hmm. And
And
wouldn't you say that's like one of the biggest surprises was realizing how many people around us are like that? I,
yeah,
I, I would have never, I didn't see it. I thought everybody was cool with everybody. To an extent, you know, I thought there
yes,
was a lot less of them.
yes. I
Thankful.
just, I was not in any celebratory mood on the 4th of July. And my
Mm-mm.
brother band, the drummer is a real born child of Uncle Sam. His birthday is the 4th of July. So there's always a
Mm.
party on the 4th of July. And I just could not go. I didn't want to be
Mm-mm.
around anybody.
Mm-mm.
And especially didn't want to see people that I knew were on a different path. And um, it got rained out.
Oh, wow.
They played
Yeah.
2 songs and all their equipment got soaked because they had set it up outside, which they always do. And you know, I was supposed to get the rain, not them. I didn't get
Mm.
of rain. It was a beautiful day. And
Mm.
I was just so glad to shut the world out.
Yep, me too. I didn't want to have anything to do with it at all. And this Uranus entering Gemini is going to go like we just went in, but he's going to retrograde back into Taurus. He's going to fully end up in Gemini on
April 26th,
thank you, April,
2026.
April
Or
26th.
yeah, 26.
But listen to this. All the times, I mean, I'm just going to rattle off a few things of the last times. It takes Uranus to 84 years to go into, okay, so it's been 84 years since it's been in a Gemini. Back in the 14th century, they created the printing press. That was the first time. So you will see this theme. The telescopes were invented during another Uranus and Gemini. The Bible was the first book that was mass produced for people to read. Pamphlets. The transatlantic cable was during Uranus and Gemini.
And think about
Um,
how active Benjamin Franklin was with Uranus and Gemini.
Oh my gosh, right? And I mean he's playing with a dangerous game with his little key and lightning. And that's what Uranus represents, lightning. You know, it's very shocking and surprising. That could go both ways. You know, it just depends what is being cleared out from there. But coding, AI coding, um, uh, DMT, using drugs to get you to a higher consciousness. You know, that became a thing. Splitting the atom,
Right.
calculators,
Right.
you
This is
know?
why we got to be responsible about the new tools we're getting, because
Yes.
look what happened to so many who went off the deep end with all of those mind enlightening drugs.
Yep. You have to be careful. Partake responsibly. That's what I would say. Um, but the amount of innovation, we think that we are so far advanced, and we are, but I think those same psychopaths have been holding back a lot of information that could free humanity from a lot of things, and that's going to be that's going to be exposed. But at the same time, those new innovations are going to be released to us too. And I kept getting this. There's going to be, when I don't know, I guess it was World War II, Radio Free Europe, like underground radio. I kept getting that. Like, there's going to be a news source that tells the truth that people flock to because they know that they're getting the truth.
And doesn't rely on clickbait. I am so
Yes,
disappointed.
or
I am
billions of
very
dollars.
disappointed in a lot of things that were so innovative and so easy to cling to when things were happening the first time around, And I don't want to mention any names, but just think to a news station that broadcasts the truth. Well, they still broadcast the truth, but now it's all about clickbait, and you got to be a member to see this video, and you got to be a member. It's like, then why advertise that video? Because now you're just all about money, 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 money.
Yeah, see, and the money is okay, there is going to be a change. That's a big thing with Uranus. It was a thing with Uranus and Taurus. So maybe when it goes back into Taurus in the fall for a little while, they're trying to set up crypto. I really don't feel it because it's not backed by anything.
You know what? I agree with you. And I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Because here's the thing. I'm in a credit union, and all of a sudden they make an offer. If you start this other savings account, which gives you an extra bonus on interest, and all you have to do is use your ATM card or whatever they call it now 24 times a month. They're trying to make everything plastic. They're trying to get rid of all of that. If you do that, that says, well, see, people are relying on that. But by doing that, by having this account, I earn extra interest on my checking account, and I earn extra interest on a savings account. Well, I've only succeeded twice because I'm not about spending money every day. Their whole thing is, it doesn't matter if all you do is buy an iced tea out of a machine. Just use it every day. Well, it sounded nice in the beginning, and I've just begun thinking about that. It's like, that's a challenge to go spend money like that, because I'm not inclined to, for the first time in my life, don't wanna.
It's keeping you like in their loop, right? Like Pavlov's dog,
Yeah.
keeping you ding, ding,
Right?
here's the reward, here's the reward,
Well, when credit cards first went plastic, everybody said, then you just wait. We're not going to carry any more pocket money.
That's right.
It's going to be plastic. Rainbow Dragon, you've come up with a couple of good ones there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, they did lose their soul. I'm sorry, I'm coming down through it. Our souls are priceless, and that's what they don't want us to remember. And we are remembering. Flame bearer typically,
yes, Leah,
refers to someone who carries a torch of light. Yes, that's what we all are. I love that. Flame bearer, symbolizing leadership, inspiration, or the preservation of knowledge or values. Absolutely. And this is where we speak up and we say, no, that is not how you run.
That's shit, and I'm not into
it. That's not how you run humanity. That's not how you have a successful society. He's coming in and he's destroying it. Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna rebuild it. Yes. And we're gonna rebuild it back a lot better, because really, in a lot of ways, this Uranus in Gemini, it's like uninstalling programs and then reinstalling a better, higher
Yeah, just what I was talking, we were talking backstage, and I had just deleted Dropbox because I wasn't using it and they were charging me for it. And it's like, how do you making me charge for it? This was free when I first signed up for it. And now I need it because I've been making these videos, and it's one of the systems that I can get a longer video. Leo says the ultimate act of rebellion is to create, not to consume. I love it. Absolutely.
Yes.
He
Yes.
follows that up with our attention is the new currency. And that's it exactly.
Oh my God.
They still
that
want
is
us
so
to stay in
true.
that frame of mind.
Yes.
Oh, we got credit. We buy it on credit. You know,
we're so pissed off. We're not even going to be spending money next few months. It really, I mean, it might get even worse because that's the only way you're going to get these psychopaths' attention is stop their money. I
right?
love that though. Your attention is your currency, just like your energy is your currency. You
And
know,
now Dire Straits is singing in my head. Get your
what
money for
money for
nothing. Get your
nothing,
chicks for free. No,
chicks
man.
for free. That's always good.
Right?
uh I love that Maria is talking about Ho'oponopono. Yes, we need balance. I'm going to just go real quick through here to bring the dark back to light. Absolutely. I love that. Hi, Viviani. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. From dreams I'm having, let's see, I believe many people will be taken to the streets. Yes, I agree with that. And peacefully, though. It's like we're so over it. There's no need to sit out there and fight and try to battle. It's just stop the money. Hi, Gina's Place. Nice to see you.
You know, Libra's pretty empty this month.
It was planned.
This whole month, it's Libra's pretty like, yeah.
Yeah.
Except for her little 2 degrees of the supergalactic center.
That's a pretty big.
Right? Because everything's going to cross over that in opposition and squares and trines and sextiles. So there's going to be activity with the fixed star, but
Well, that is, those galactic centers, that's just where the I see it as like higher consciousness, light codes, information coming down through and then going to the central sun. Well, it goes to so many planets and so many suns, and it comes finally to us, That's a higher, and that's Libra. That's the balance, the justice, right? That balance and justice is in the background going, no, we're done playing your game, They were imposters for a long time. That's true. Hi, Garnet. Good to see you.
They got away with this imposter.
Oh,
in the
Rainbow
80s.
Dragon. I love that.
Talking about one guy in particular. Look what he did in the 80s with Daddy's money.
And that's just it. Yeah, and they still think that money is going to save them. They have everything. If we look at the oligarchs as this group of people who have everything, why are you taking what we pay for in taxes for you to take care of our nation, which they didn't even do?
Well, right.
We don't have a high
nothing anyway.
No, we need to upgrade our infrastructure. We don't have high speed rail. We could go on and on and on. It's just they only where they can make money is what they even put a little bit of money into. So that they're going to see that's not how we're going to go about it.
I cannot remember the name of this movie to save my life, but it reminds me so much of Musky Toes and all those things that are going on in the government. But this guy was psychic and extremely rich and knew exactly how this one person was going to die and could see the future and saw the ending of Earth, and built this rocket and was able to get off planet. And the first thing that happens when they land on this new beautiful planet, they don't tell anybody that the Earth is about to explode. They get on the rocket, they go to the new planet. Earth explodes. They think they got it made, and the plant turns into a dragon, and it happens to be, he doesn't know what it is, and it bites off Meryl Streep's head, bites her face right off. and he goes, oh, that would be, and I'll just say Jabberwocky for the lack of a better word, that would be the Jabberwocky. Because that's what he kept saying, is this beast is going to be the end of you. And it's just like, oh, there you go, that's what that is.
That yes, Gina's place. Everybody, does Uranus and Gemini lead to multitasking? Oh my goodness! If you would have saw us starting this, you would have seen what we were talking. We are going to, and this is important though. Everyone, you have to really realize, calm yourself. It is all about preserving your nervous system, because they're hitting it constantly every minute, trying to disrupt you and upset you, right? The planets are, and the sun and the earth are shooting out frequencies and vibrations that are disrupting, but they're disrupting in a good way, because they're helping us shed what is no longer, for purging, right? We've been purging, and it's just going to be that way. Yeah.
And that's sadhana there too, because sadhana is about sacrifice and adaptation and what no longer serves.
Oh, see, I love that. Okay, so Sedna is at 1 degree Gemini. Uranus is at 0, and Sedna is very slow, and so is Uranus. They're going to be sitting there. And say that again, Diana. They're going to
what, to let go of?
What? No, the Sedna's what Sedna represents.
Sedna represents sacrifice and adaptation. And what did she sacrifice? A relationship with her family. Because what did her family do? Her father was the last representative of her family, and what did he do? He cut off her hands and fingers to drown. He made her marry.
Yeah.
And in Inuit, when you say Sedna's name, which is this long, I cannot repeat it to you, it means she who would not marry. Because she never wanted to get married. She was an independent woman. So it's Don't Look Up. Oh, that's the name of the movie?
Okay, yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And Jamie Lynn.
Others have seen it.
Yes, Don't Look Up.
It was quite comical. There were moments where I went, do I want to really watch this?
Oh, Rainbow Dragon, I'd like to know what 0.00 ppm water is. That would be, I'm trying my best. Oh, okay, so 0, nothing, no toxins in there. I don't know how you find that.
Well, I just keep hoping that my well water is giving me something of that.
Yeah, I mean, I filter, I do what I can. Let's see here. The firmament in the context of the Bible refers to a solid dome-like structure above Earth. Saturn is the highest evolved planet, as that's stayed to assist Earth. They all work together. Ron, unconditional love. Well, stop buying their products. Absolutely. And exactly. Stop giving them money.
That does really align with what Leah had to say, for sure. Don't consume, create. And there is some truth to Saturn being that planet. He's just no longer the last planet in the stream of things. But for the longest time, he had rulership over Sagittarius, Capricorn, Uranus, Aquarius, and Pisces, because he was the last planet to be able to be seen with the naked eye.
Until they invented the telescope during Uranus and Gemini.
Yeah. Then you found Uranus, and then we found Pluto, and then we found Neptune, and then Pluto, or Neptune, and I remember when that Pluto was discovered, and I don't care what astronomers say, they are not taking Pluto away from me. He is a planet.
That's right.
He's bigger than Ceres, and they're considering Eris, the goddess of discord. They consider her to be a dwarf planet. So is he, and he's bigger than her. So we're not going there.
Oh my goodness, isn't that no? They all, and the more we discover, right, the more that they bring different richness to our lives, right? They fill in a lot of the gaps. And even, when you ask Diana, when we talk about asteroids, they fill in the details. I mean, there's a lot of moving objects out there in our solar system that do affect us all. It's energy. We're energy. We're made out of energy. Everything's frequency. And as the sun it's constantly moving. Those planets are constantly moving. There's comets. There's things that going on. A comet dove into the sun today. We had a 6.4 earthquake in New Zealand.
Yep.
There's constant energy moving powerfully, and it does come through us. It does help us. And to me, what my guides say, all of these influxes of energy help us evolve, help us unravel, detach from that lower psychopath realm, so we can go into our realm. And Leah, I love this because I think everybody would. I'm the same way. I would gladly give half of what I own to help another, and I don't care anymore. I'm not interested in money. I'm not. I'm content, and I have peace of mind. I don't like the hustle. I never liked the hustle and the grind, and you have to do that when you're a bartender to a certain extent, or in the server industry. Oh, why aren't you smiling? I mean, for not smiling, I can't tell you how many times I lost tips. And it's not like I'm going around angry. I'm focused. People will literally call you out. Why aren't you smiling? Because I have 20 orders in my head and I'm trying to keep everything where it is, But, you can't.
And then I got to carry them on 2 trays.
Yeah.
The carpal tunnel and a ganglion cyst.
Yeah. Yep. Right here. And it's interesting how all of this. Okay, now that the last piece of the puzzle is in, and now that does, the retrogrades are going to go on, things are going to happen. That Capricorn full moon, Diana and I will be back on that night.
On the 10th.
As this rest of this year plays out, this is where it's coming down to, because we got to think Uranus in Gemini, 2 air signs, innovation. We're going to have solutions. Pluto in Aquarius, which Uranus rules Aquarius. Okay, so again, innovation. And it is about the people. It's about being authentic, about being truthful. That all that crap that they try to do, they double speak, they're lying all the time. Oh, there's no Epstein files today. All of a sudden,
I can't believe that.
Get the F out of here. And I think people are stupid. I mean, what can we do? Really, we can't really fight back. Nobody's fighting. Because how do you fight them? He fired everybody that could. Right.
Well, the other thing is they found 1 minute of missing video from the area that Epstein was in. It goes from it's missing 11:59. It goes from 11:59 to 59:59. So it's like there's a whole 1 minute missing. That's when they snuck in.
Yep. I never got that he's dead. Never once.
Well, I think he is, but
I don't get it. I mean, I don't. I think that they are so dark and nefarious that they play in some dark magic that I
Oh,
don't want to be any part
well,
of.
you know,
But
let's consider the recipe is now out there for how to be the dead Buddha that comes back to life. And it's what Yeshua was given. And it's what Merlin did. And it's how Saint Germain comes and goes and comes and goes because he knows the recipe. I
can jump in and out. Yeah.
I know it's seeds and pine tree resins and other things that are used that solidify, but when that wears off or you are given the antidote, you come back. Now
Mm.
there is suspended animation humans that are inside of Buddha statues in temples in China and Tibet, and supposedly they can come back.
Oh, see, to me, that is okay. That's more of a white magic. It's more
Well,
heart centered. I'm talking dark, dark, dirty, crappy. They do some
that's what
very.
that's what they're using it for. They've taken the white recipe and using it for their thing,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there. It's basic information. If you know where the Tibetan scrolls, the long, long books that say Jesus was here.
I'm asking my pendulum. Is Jeffrey Epstein transition? Has he transitioned to the other side? See, I always get a no.
Well,
Oh,
doesn't mean that it doesn't mean he went to the other side. It could mean he went to another planet.
exactly. That's what I get. Well, I don't know. Is he off planet? Is he off planet? Jeffrey Epstein, is he off planet? I am getting a yes on that. Huh. Anyway, we, don't want to play in their mud, that's for sure. We've been playing in their mud, unfortunately, for 26,000 years plus. I like Rainbow Dragon said, manifestation gateway tied to the number 7. Exactly. I was just going to get into 7 because Lauren asked us to discuss it, which represents divine timing, lucky breaks, and soul level alignment. It's very spiritual number 2. 7 is in this serious joy in the step astrology. That's what that number 7 represents. Neptune, spirit, all those divine and anything to do with the divine. She says he might be dead but hasn't crossed over. I don't feel he has a soul. That's the thing I'm trying to say
It could just be in
without
the 80s for that matter.
saying, yeah, without saying it. Because I mean, it's interesting. I don't there
That's
is
how I
some
see it, Gina.
there
That's,
yeah, there's some among us that just don't have souls in the hearts. And I don't know. That's to me, because I used to think everybody did, but then I look at the atrocities, like anybody who could do things to children. I'm not going to get into, stuff like that. You're not,
that's
yeah,
how that's how it goes for me, Rossi.
yeah.
And it's like a big shove,
Mm-hmm.
on
Really,
that wobble that I get.
yes.
And we've had some filament flares, but it hasn't been so bad because, oh my gosh, thank everybody here for all of your good wishes. Things are really, really on the upswing.
Absolutely. That's what we're here
Yeah.
for each other. We're here to help each other heal, grow, remember who we are. I mean, yeah, that's all. That's what we're doing. We're already divine, the spark of the divine. We already are beyond. We're so powerful and not an over power over. We're true magic. True magic, energetic
No,
magic.
this is, can I talk about the bees a little bit?
Of course.
This is part of the whole thing with the bees. I've been wanting to do bees since 2009. And where I lived in Virginia, nice neighborhood, but a neighborhood with a lot of people. And my neighbor and I had a gate between us so that we could come and go from each other's houses. And that gate took you through her backyard, down a driveway, and that driveway was the crossing guard station to go to the school. So I had tons of kids crossing through there all the time. So I didn't do it when I lived in Virginia. When I moved here, I wanted to start one, but I didn't because we were in COVID. Grizzly, it's a rabbit. Stop it. And you all know about my night travels and the grids and all of that stuff. Well, in the beginning, I only saw the grids in squares. And then I began seeing things in the colony built like a beehive. And so I began to think, well, maybe when I'm out on my night missions, when I'm doing community rescues and working for others, that's when I get these colony squares. And then when I'm doing, when the higher source is giving me healing and all of you, the healing is penetrating, that's when I get the square grids with the light source and light codes and symbols. So I finally got around to ordering the bees because it was like, okay, just bite the bullet and do it. Well, I wasn't able to get them for the spring hive building, but I did get them to come so that they arrived on June 17th. Meanwhile, I've begun being on this show with Diane G and Paul White Dragon and Allie and myself. And we're talking about different populations from the stars. And Diane G does Akashic Records, and she knows she can read your star seeds. Well, before the bees got here, she gave me a reading, and that reading was all about me having 26 lives bouncing between Andromeda and Beta Centauri. Now, Beta Centauri is also Hadron, which makes me Hadarian as well. And there's a Palladia in there, Apollonia in there, which is Diana. Hello. And then there's one other stray cat in there. But that's a whole lot of lives. And when I started looking into things about Andromeda and Beta Centauri, well, the beehive is the symbol for Andromeda. And oh my God, no wonder I've been drawn to doing these bees because that's how they live. And when I got the beehive started, I stopped getting them in the grid work and I'm back to only getting squares because all I have to do is pull out a frame and I'm looking at the hives. And so it is the colony that's healing me. You are the colony. The above is the colony, but the bees are so important. Mm-hmm. They are the greatest pollinators the earth has. And I don't care if I ever get any honey out of there. This is about rescuing them and saving them. I'm a vegan, and most vegans won't even touch honey. But I'm also, I'm not a formal herbologist, but I dabble in it and I make salves and everything. And I know that honey is important. It's medicine. I burned my hand so bad. The only thing that I could think of was to slap this honey on it. And I did. The next day, it was gone. It did not blister. It did not leave me a red mark. And I had metal stuck to my hand. A bracelet wearing was stuck to my hand.
Mm.
It did peel skin off because I wasn't
No.
and just grab it. It was my water distiller. Oh, there you go. Just get a steam distiller, but don't open it. Wait till it's cool.
Oh man. Oh
But
my goodness.
that's the way to go to get 0 parts per million. A steam distiller. I need to do that again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing that up, Rainbow Dragon.
I know. I'm like I research water all the time. I'm looking. I live in a small apartment, so I need a compact thing where in my kitchen is small. Anyway,
Right. Well, with well water, I've got to have a softening tank because if I don't, I'm going to be ruining the pipes in the house. Copper pipes everywhere in this house because it was built in 1968, 69.
it's
So there's some PVC, but most of it's copper.
and really that's kind of well, not kind of. It is one of the most insidious things the psychopaths did was destroy our water, our air, and our soil. Uh, That's all going to be restructured. We're going to come back into that. But I mean, they've done a lot of damage in 26,000 years. And for us to adapt to the plastics and the things that we adapted to, we're pretty strong, you know?
It's
Well,
amazing what the human body can go through and come back.
right, right. It's amazing. And just a couple other things I just wanted to say. The first computer in 1945 was invented under Uranus and Gemini. Nuclear weapons, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. George Orwell published 1984. Um, increase
And,
in, and this
and
is
that's
what,
when it started, man,
right?
1984.
And at the same time, there was an increase in human rights. That's, everything always circles around. That's going to be huge. We're not going to put up with it anymore. AI, CRISPR technology, data storage, all of these things are going to really pop out. Quantum computing, adapting to what do I got here? To technology. And we went through the American Revolution, the Civil War, World War II, aviation boom, jet fighters came in, TV broadcasting. That there's something about that, but there's something even more. As our abilities as higher consciousness beings. I want to say a quantum psychic. Like seriously, that is what we are, and that's coming in more. Where we've been playing out right now is kind of just the basics, learning the basics again, remembering the basics again. But it's kind of we're gonna have this, the a lot of us already do the ability to be in a couple places at one time to really download a lot of information. Our minds, like I feel like my mind, like I need more bandwidth, right? I need more storage space or something. I don't know how to explain it, but my team says that is part of what's coming in. Like you are going to adapt. You're just the, working with the AI, the as that as coexisting together in a relationship is going to really benefit us all, especially if we're doing it from a higher consciousness
Well,
approach.
but and don't you feel that the whole way of doing business in the business world is going to change too?
Gone,
Can't
gone.
be like this anymore. It
Mm-mm.
just can't. There's no reason to hold power over people. I'm watching The Gilded Age,
Right.
and it can be it is quite entertaining. There's a couple of episodes that bring on some hilarity, but that's how it was. This is the innovation era of the hierarchy in society, and
That,
even people with brown skin, racial backgrounds. If you had been a slave, I don't want nothing to do with you. And that person was Black herself. And she just wants to act like that never happened. And I was never a part of that. And I'm upper society, the upper crust of society. So people of all walks of life got trapped into that.
And that was part of the evolution of the 26,000 years. Those who had were superior. They believed they were superior over those who don't have, and or slaves, or I mean, they could do. You had no rights. You could be taken up, just what they're doing right now, taking people off the street and taking you and dropping you somewhere. This is crazy. Yeah, it infuriates me. But yeah, you're right. Everything from how we do business, there's nothing ethical in that. And that's what that Aquarius, Uranus, Pluto are looking for. You have to, we're not going to evolve into a higher frequency without being authentic and
Yep.
in integrity and
This is
truthful.
very,
You
very
know,
true, Rainbow. Very true. And like I make salves.
oh,
I
mine
make
too,
dandelion
Rossi.
salve and with I toy with calendula. I grow chamomile. I use the dandelions off my lawn. I make plantain with the plants on my lawn. I make comfrey, though I'm not going to grow it because it's an extremely invasive plant. It's kind
Mm,
of like milkweed. I had
mm.
milkweed in Virginia, and I rued the day that I put it in my medicine wheel. As much as I loved the fact that it was there and the monarchs were coming like crazy, especially during the October migration, like around October 13th, they were very busy through my neck of the woods of Virginia as they were heading south. And
Mhm.
it took forever to get rid of the plants because they propagate with finger roots besides the seeds. So, but I will go take seeds and scatter them all through the woods.
Oh, wow.
Um,
No, it's so cool. You're talking about honey being used as a contraceptive, and it's what I was going to ask. Hi, Pamela Anderson. Um, and Rossi, I would love to hear more about this. I learned that aqua lead is an Andromedan water healing purification energy healing. I have a filter, but after I heal the water, I taste the difference. Wow. Yeah,
oh, uh,
that
aqua,
sounds fascinating. I would
aqua.
love to know.
Hmm.
Um, equated to God, what's this? Bees and their buzzing are seen as symbols of, yeah, and that's what I was saying to Diana in the back when we were backstage. Like the bees are really, uh, um, you know, the only thing I guess the only thing I can really compare it to is what they're showing me is light language. Really has they have their own communication system
Oh,
directly from source.
so I
It's
have,
really everything does, but they really have this
yeah,
ability to
yeah. I have
pull it
two
all
shorts
together.
up and three shorts up and 4 or 5 videos on my experience as I'm getting started with these things. But because of my doing this, I'm also like going crazy watching um, other people who are beekeepers, but scientists working with bees. And he's a German scientist, I think, and he lives and works in England. And they have worked with bees and their frequency, trying to find out where they begin
Never,
to understand human language. And bees through this is it's an amazing machine. I can't explain it to you, it would take too long, but they gravitate to the vibration of whatever frequency they're putting on these discs. And through doing that, the frequency conversion for go or go away and come here, they know that those are two things that they can understand. When I go out there, I sing to them. I try to go every day and sing to them, but not disturb them, so that they recognize me. Not a human imprint. It's just so that they know I am not there to hurt them. And so I'm singing while I go through them, the cages as well, the hive, I should say. And I know that they are recognizing. And it's kind of funny because there's always, when I go to leave, there's always one scout that will follow me to the gate where the dog pen is. That's the way back into my house. And once I'm inside that gate, they're gone. But they've also discovered now that the black-eyed Susans and the echinacea are starting to bloom. So,
Oh, that is so cool. I mean, I would love that, just to spend my day doing that. It's just beautiful.
well, and
Such a
you don't,
connection.
right, you got to let them work. And
Yeah.
it's like, do you ever stop buzzing? Because the queen likes it dark, so it doesn't matter if the sun's shining or not. It's just the temperature within. So they do things to cool it off with their wings or to warm it up by slowing it down.
Aw.
And it's like I have to learn all this stuff all over again, because it doesn't matter how many times I read it or watch it, until I put my hands into it. It's that tactile visual that I have to do.
Well, let's put, yeah, Diana salves are the very best. They are, Leah. Really
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you, Leah.
He was saying, oh, here, Play Love Remember is asking, what about ingesting mugwort? Not sure how to do that. I'm not sure either, sweetie.
So, well, that's mugwort, hoewood, all those things. They're in the Artemisia family, and there's a lot of information on that on YouTube. I grow two varieties, the kind that you make, what's that alcoholic drink out of? And then there's the other one that is more medicinal than
absinthe.
Yeah. So that comes from Artemisia. So you can find lots of videos on that, lots of information on the internet as well as on YouTube on how to distill it, because I think you have to distill it. I don't think it's the plant itself. But I think it's the essential oil that is used. And I could be totally wrong, because I haven't ventured that far. I started, and then it's the bees. So, Okay.
And she's buzzing around like a bee. I mean, we all are. And we are all going to be very busy. We're all going to want to, and follow your heart. I say that with everything. I mean, it is, and that's the card I got, was pure intention. Find clarity, surrender your ego. It's really pretty. These are unicorn deck and Diana Cooper. And then the other one was stand in your power, be passionate about your vision, bring about positive change. And that's what we're going to do together. We're all bringing in positive change together. This is why we're here. And we're at this crucial moment in history where we're just not accepting that the psychopath rule anymore. Just not going that way anymore, And we have the energy on our side. We have our teams on our side. We have each other to stand strong with. And I'm just really grateful that I'm here at this time. But I have to say, I know a lot of times it's exciting, but I'm terrified too, watching what's going on, like how far they're taking this,
Yeah. So I drew 2 tarot cards, and I'm taking one out of my deck.
Okay. Oh, I've had 2 of your cards up on my desk because they've been helping me all month go through the month.
Thank you. Thank you, Play Love Remember. I felt that way. I do. I mean, I used to rescue raptors, owls and hawks,
I
eagles and
love
things. They can't all be released. And it's hard to not use them as a showbird because that's what you have to do in order to keep government funding coming in order to support these. You have to use them in teaching situations. And they get attached. Why wouldn't they? And
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't do anything extra special except hold them and take them out of this little tiny cage when they can't go fly because they can't fly anymore, or they're blinded because they got hit by a car. So I used to do all of that, go rescue them as well as show them. And you know, there's a love. There's a, oh my God, thank you. You're not hurting me more. You're just trying to fix me. So,
Mm-hmm. They
so
understand. They understand it on a
yes,
and,
absolutely.
and that okay. Okay, that's what there's like we're going to be able to communicate more with animals and creatures. I mean, everything's always talking to us, but this is going to be heightened under this Uranus and Gemini. And this is why they kept showing me the bees, but it's everything. When you just said that, and it makes sense now. I mean, there's always been those of us who can, but I think that's even going to grow exponentially too, you know? How
Yeah.
cool. That is so cool.
Well, and I see the three of coins as being the card of communication,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Brainstorming, not
Oh, I
just
love it.
somebody showing you the blueprint and this is how I'm going to do it for you. This is brainstorming. This is where we're going. And that's funny that I was on a show with Gerald and Linda De Gonzalez earlier today, and that's what the whole topic was: how to brainstorm, how
Ah,
to
cool.
brainstorm. And then through that brainstorming, you judge, what's the best way to go? What's the final product? Where's the mistake? Where's
Mm.
that we don't want to do again?
Mm.
But what we have done is built sanctuary for ourselves and our fellow man. This is a friend of mine who is in the woods practically every day, and he builds these incredible cairns, an entire village. And you'll find him on some of the paths through the woods also. But
Oh,
there's this one clearing at a small lake that's in there, and he dives in that lake and brings up these incredibly large stones. But by sticking together, by making wise decisions, judgment,
mm.
is also, how do you judge? Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Quit talking to yourself in the mirror like you ugly, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No. Uh-uh.
It's important discernment, but yeah, loving and accepting ourselves first. That's the foundation. We are guided to create that.
Right. And I love that. That's exactly right. It's hardest before you level up.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we're all right there. And then I they had me
Oh, I'm
grab this. No, it's okay. Then I got hope. Hope is the light in the darkness and never extinguish it. And check this out. Courage. This is my last one. Courage lies within you. You have the power to overcome anything. But I just love the fact that it was a eagle. We were just talking about the birds. The
yeah.
birds and the bees. Hell
Well, and
yeah.
the symbol of our nation, and
Yeah.
ours is not the only nation under distress.
Right. The whole world, and it's interesting how Mother Earth is going through this part of space that is really helping us to it's stripping off what is unnatural in that is a block. Oh, that's not the word I'm looking for. All that crap that hangs on us, helping us release. All of it is all working together. It's so cool what we're going through. It's just a little challenging. Yeah,
Well,
it is a little ride.
I have
Yeah.
I'm watching a series on Emily Dickinson, and
Mm.
it's it's the she's they it's modernized. The music is outrageous, and one of her things was she had a bee as a guide. She would be
I love
to this giant bee, which, like, is that like the praying mantis from another,
it.
or is she just got a bee as a guide? And it's really great. It's on Apple TV, and they have some great shows on there. And this is like season 2, but it's really, really good because just the music alone.
That's so true. That is so true. Well, thank you,
Exactly.
Diana, for hanging out. Thank you all for being here. We love you. We love your energy. It just makes me feel so good. Makes me know that we're doing our thing. We're doing what we're here to do,
That's
and I
right.
love doing it with you all. There's nothing better to me than have this community.
Yeah.
Diana and I will be back on, what is it, Thursday?
The
Thursday is
10th.
the 10th. Yeah, and we'll talk about that Capricorn full moon because I think that's going to show a lot of this stuff that has been pretending like it's a government system that is not, and that's just going to start unraveling more and more.
Yeah.
Um, yes, manifest today, Rossi says, and it takes courage to do the right. Any coward can do wrong. I love that.
When I'm
Um,
so excited that so many of you are understand bees and are into it. This is exciting. This is
yeah, it is. It's so cool. I like this. What's this? I'm a dweller of the threshold and I'm knocking at the door. I don't want to wait no more. Feel the angel of the present lifting me higher and higher. Watch the great illusions bound. Wow, Garnet. That
awesome.
is really awesome.
Yeah, I love a dweller on the threshold. I
I
love
love
that.
I do too. I love that. Thank you for being here, Mr. Floyd. Thank you for hanging out with us, everybody.
Oh, everybody. Oh my gosh. Everybody.
We will see you on Thursday.
Yes.
Love y'all very much. Thank
Mwah.
you. Love, love.